Over there.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. Uh, I know it's been a very long day, and thank you again, once again, for joining the session. This session is youth-led session, so it will be a very informal conversation. We try to let you all know what amazing work we have been doing, and also learn from you what you have been doing in your space, personal space, and how we can, from our end, can improve the work we have been doing, and also how we can collaborate together in any of the project which you have been doing or any of the project which we have been doing. The title of the session is Innovative Food System: The Importance of De-stigmatizing Agriculture for Asian Youth. It's been co-organized by the World Food Forum, which is being facilitated by FAO of the United Nations, and also Asian Youth Empowerment, youth-led campaign youth-led campaign by Yongo, which is an official youth constituency of UNFCCC. With a short description of the event is we all know the agriculture is currently one of the most threatened victim of the climate change, and it's upon the younger generation to bring the innovation against newly arising problem. With in the agro system to secure well-feed planet, approximately 60 to 70% of the world total farming occurs in the Asia Pacific region, and it's crucial for all of us to make agriculture an empowering space for youth and in this region, and to provide some of the resources. We are here with some of the amazing four speakers who will be covering four different title, and they will be sharing their stories, they will be sharing their ideas, innovation, solution. Starting with us, we have just a second. I think the net is not working. Just a second. This is one of the problem when we are at the very back end. Yeah, we have someone from expert who will be sharing and climate impact. What are the climate impacts on agriculture? Uh, His name is Peter Kayu Zeng. Sorry if I pronounce this wrong. His focal point for Carbon Book is the company focus on carbon empowerment for the enterprise across the multi industry. This is a one-stop firm for specialized carbon neutrals, digital transformation solutions, and also he is one of the experience from this company who is working on agri-food system transformation system, aiming to provide a greener supply chain and foster better future with youth engagement. The floor is yours, Peter. Over to you.
Oh, yeah, just be the first one to explain. And in my opinion, what is agriculture? I think in agriculture, in our industry, what we call the first industry, uh, let's say you can imagine a farmer is a factory, and it also when you have a bowl of rice, you have to think about behind of this bowl of rice. There's a lot of cost of environment. So that means the carbon footprint is also will be occurred from that. And to design an eco-friendly, environmental friendly farming system or agriculture industry, we have to do a lot of efforts. For example, since beginning, I recall in China, in also China, since 2 years ago, and there's a state principle, policy already indicated. It said all the wastes from from farming and will be accumulated in the same pool and to produce the methane. And this methane will be produced the green electricity and to be the power supply of the whole village. So this is a kind of ecosystem we are looking for, and I think it could be a future can be scientifically and system for the food supply. You mean when we solve the problem of the food supply, we still have to consider what is the cost of the environment, plus or minus on the carbon, and will it have the positive or negative impacts on the climate change. That's my point of view. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Peter. We will coming back to you and also taking some of the few questions. Uh, Now I would like to give on the floor to the next speaker, Arkesh Kedas Senoy, who will be sharing on cultivating youth-led innovation and solution he has been doing. He's a recently BSc Agriculture graduate. He is the co-founder of the Prakriti Agro Logistics and agriculture startup focused on sustainable agriculture, environmental service, and leading projects with promoting agri-biodiversity with more than 400 plus variety seed banks he has been created. Uh, yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the space. All right. So let me start from where I got my interest in agriculture, right? So ever since my early days of childhood, I've been fascinated with nature and fascinated with how things work and how nature works. And another point of heavy interest was the three stages of food, right? Growing, cooking, and eating. So I love all the three stages of food. Now, as I grew up, I used to see certain varieties of vegetables, certain varieties of rice, and just within, I'm 22 years old now, and just within these many years, I've seen a lot of vegetables vanishing from the supermarkets, right? A lot of traditional varieties of food, they're just disappearing. So right after my BSc in agriculture, I mean, this was one of the reasons why I took up this study, right? My BSc in agriculture. So right after that, I tried to look into, what are the problems? Why are we losing out on our agro biodiversity? And turns out by now we've already lost around 75% of our traditional varieties of food crops. And all these have been replaced by hybrids and GMOs, and different parts of the countries have different varieties that are specifically bred for particular purposes. But in this process, we've lost a lot of our natural genetic pool, what you call, for diversity in crops, as well as the beauty in itself, right? So our crops have been evolving over the ages, trying to get acclimatized to certain conditions, certain pests. And when we focus more on yield, we tend to lose out on these significant properties. When we come here, we lose that. So it's a fight. But what I try to do is figure out why we are losing these vegetables and how we can get them back. Because we definitely know that these are crops that grow without much care. They're very hardy, and they also give produce that is very healthy for the local people around, because that's what they've been eating over ages. And the main thing was, I went to the villages of south of India. So there's this village called Chikmagalur where I had a conversation with farmers. And they have this very specific variety of tomato called the huli tomato, which means sour tomatoes. And they have a very thin peel, and they use it to make a soup called rasam in South India. And I asked, and she's growing this on a very small plot. And I asked her, why is it on such a small plot? That's because there's no market for it. Her huli tomatoes are green and squarish. Everyone wants their red round tomatoes because that's what people know tomatoes are. So the lack of awareness among consumers was one very big issue. And the second thing was, without a market, where would these farmers sell their produce? They want to grow it. The farmer really wanted to grow those tomatoes because she knew the importance and all of that. So what we're trying to do is, so me and a friend of mine, we started this startup called Prakheti. And we're trying to create a seed bank conserving these kind of indigenous traditional seeds, create a network of farmers who are growing these and also create an awareness about these vegetables on the consumer side. Now, when we look at how agricultural marketing works, sometimes on a large scale, it can be a bit boring for the consumers unless you come up with a new trendy way of marketing something that's, to speed up how it goes through the flow. So that's what we've been trying to do. We've been trying to get these kind of produce out there, trying to make them trendy, trying to get them in forms where people are ready to accept them, giving it a nice story so that people realize why it's very important to switch to these kind of, go back to our roots, go back to the kind of vegetables and fruits we used to have. So this is one part of it. But on the same hand, we also saw that it's not just agrobiodiversity, but there are many ways that we see our wildlife diversity also decreasing on the same hand, again, because of agriculture. So what we're trying to do is also incorporate native RET varieties, as rare, endangered, and threatened species of forest trees into the landscape or into the foodscape, in fact. So we work with such organizations and get together people to design functional foodscapes where we have forest species that also add on to the value of your crops, also give you another additional source of income, so the farmer is incentivized as well, and also give a story on the consumer's end, so we try and lift it up from both the sides. So it's going well. It's been about 2 years, and we've entered into a few cities, and yeah, that's about the story. It's going pretty well.
Thank you so much, Arikesh. That was wonderful. I will just definitely come back to you and we'll learn more about your project and some of the challenges you have been facing while executing the project. We have another speaker with us, Katalia Hang, who will be sharing the youth-led adaptation practice. Katalia is ex-buyer and PwC and also a UN volunteer. She is presently the focal point for UNFCCC admitted NGOs. She devoted a youth-led climate action related policy. She is also interested in underscoring how the adequately intergenerated women and the youth in international negotiation process while boosting their meaningful participation to better combat climate change.
Thank you so much, Vikrant, and thank you so much for this speaking opportunity and sitting right next to so many global top talents. So I would like to share more about how I'm currently working for a foreign NGO because I'm from China and my normal base is in Sydney, Australia. And I'm currently working for two foreign NGOs. The first one is Climates, French youth-led organization. And another one is Universal Versatile Society, an Indian NGO. So let me talk about the UV Society. This organization was actually founded in 2005. Since its inception, UVS has been dedicated to women empowerment, youth leadership, SDGs, climate action, waste management, and so on. Recently, UVS has been accredited by UN ECOSOC, UN CCD, UN FCCC, and so forth. And this year, UVS has been listed as one of the 1,300 plus organizations among other academic institutions to join UN SDSN for the Youth Initiative. So this youth-led organization has implemented two projects. The first one is mental health system. And the second one is digital village initiative. So the first mental health program is specifically designed for those small farmers who are currently working and living in the poor rural area. And all of them are suffering from poverty. So what we can do to help them is to roll out surveys to collect enough data and to analyze the collected information to generate insights in how to help them for even a bit. Because in this specific area, they are currently lacking data and their government is unwilling to expose such information to the public. It's too sensitive. And we are trying to help because, food sovereignty, food security is just one of the human rights. And that's a very severe problem we are currently facing in Global South, not necessarily only in India, but also in China and other ASEAN countries. And the second program is related to the FAO initiative. So FAO initiative is related to 1,000 digital village should be established within 2030. So India, as one of the leading countries in Global South, is currently rolling out this plan. But due to the constraints of COVID-19, lots of barriers are in the way, so that's why lots of digital connection points are isolated, and that's why after the pandemic, we're trying to rebuild those connection points. That's why I'm here. And this is one of the achievements we've just made back in 2021. So UV Society has been listed one out of the top 10 finalists from 157 teams throughout the world. And this global challenge is actually co-hosted by Zhejiang University and the Food and Agriculture Organization. So that's pretty much the programs we are currently involved with. And if you're interested how youth can unearth, delve into the details and join my group, that will be fantastic. Get back to you.
Thank you so much, Catalia. We'll definitely come back to learn more about how you started having partnership, especially on the international, and how you get supporting and how you can support scaling up the youth-led initiative. We have another speaker, another amazing speaker with us, Chada, also known as Jesse Mahadam Rongkul, sorry if I pronounce it wrong, who will be sharing the breaking of generational stigma in agriculture. She is a youth delegate from Thailand, currently working as a management consultant at BCG, and also passionate intersectional of food system, health, and sustainability. And currently, she is working on balancing the complexity of obesity and malnutrition with the food system in the face of climate change. Over to you.
Thank you, Vikrant, and thank you so much for having me here. I think the main problem that we have among youth in the food systems is that agriculture itself is an industry that we view as somewhat more traditional, very labor intensive. So I think the one way to mitigate the perception among youth themselves in that area is that we should bring more technology and innovation in that space to modernize agriculture itself to make it more appealing to youth. Because if you compare it as an industry to technology, for example, there's rising tech, there's blockchain AI space where we can bring a lot of technology and innovation in the space. I founded the Berkeley Alternative Protein Project, which is a think tank or incubation hub where students around the world can innovate solutions on alternative protein, whether it be plant-based, cultivated, or fermentation-based. And one first-hand example I have among food and like the effect of healthcare is with my dad. So being in this space, knowing all the innovation or innovative solutions around health and also food systems, I applied it with my dad who was suffering from diabetes. So he has a type 2 diabetes, lifestyle-related diabetes, not the genetics one. And that was one day where the doctor said, oh, your condition is getting very bad and it affects his health in many areas. He also has knee problems and all of that. So I was like, okay, Dad, why don't we try to change your diet a little bit since your diabetes is type 2, right? So it's all related to lifestyle. And he was taking some medications, a lot of them from time to time. So slowly but surely, I studied more about nutrition. I studied more about the diet, plant-based diet itself. And then we shifted his diet from fully meat heavy to from time to time, slowly shifting from like 10% plant-based, slowly to 20%, 30%. And then a few more months, 4 months after, he started to feel a shift in his body. He felt that he was more energized. Some of his health problems became less of a problem. And then he started to become 100% plant-based himself. Now it's been 3 years and he is fully plant-based and he is no longer diabetic. So the doctor was also praising him about that and his blood sugar is also getting so much lower. So there's a lot of innovation around food that we can do, and it also directly impacts our health. So I think the future is very bright in the food systems, and there's a lot of potential for youth to engage in this space as well.
Thank you so much, Chad. We'll definitely learn what we as a youth can also do later. I will like to come back to Peter with one questions. How, because you're working on the technology also, you're working with the Carbon Book, and we'd also like to learn more about the company and also how technology innovation in agriculture can effectively address the challenges which is posted by the climate change, specifically in the Asia Pacific region.
There are many examples I can raise. Let me think about. Uh, First, the kind of technology, actually data, is really something we are working on. And imagine, first of all, for the food system, I think the most important is the security of the food supply. So you can see 1 acre of soil, how many production we can really get payback from the very limited resources. How to produce as much as we can production, but cost less nature resources. This is something we are looking for. And in the past decade, I think in China, for example, we call 水稻, the rice production is really something on it, and the water consumption of 1 kilo of 水稻, I think is 40% than the beginning. So this is some innovation China is working on. And but we also noticed that another kind of technology is actually from the consumer end. And the people desire and the demand is changing. A lot of vegetarian is now getting more and more. And talking about the protein, right? The protein from animal are switching to protein from the plants. So this is also something which working on. The food system is quite organic with climate change. Imagine if the climate getting worse and worse, and the food production will be getting low and low. And this is something we must pay attention to. So when we do the select the article we are planning, or we have to think about the impact of the climate changing, and to compare the protein again, to compare protein from animal, and to compare protein with vegetarian. I think it's only one third of the original animal proteins. So this all data tells us. So there's many things we can do. We know a lot of entrepreneurs. They are working on it, and somebody even said if the industrial beef will save the whole world. I mean, that means all the cows will disappear in the future. It can maybe not a dream, and if we go along this way, that will also take out like 20% of the greenhouse gas of the world in total. So that's what I noticed.
Thank you so much for all this wonderful insight and all the data you have provided. I'm sure some of our audience will definitely love to connect with you after the session, so how we can collaborate. If you can quickly share what exactly the company works on the data maybe, and how youth can get in collaboration if they want with some of your work.
Yeah, we are working with food companies and all the industrial companies and the chemical companies, and to measure the carbon footprint of each product, including the final products of the agriculture. So we have the database now. Now we are open. We are open to the public. Everyone can register into the database, clementree.com. So you can go it to check. A cup of coffee. What is the carbon footprint, and what is the combination behind? It's from a coffee bean, from the cup, from a cap, or from the water. for example. And we can also check what is the beer, well, what is the carbon footprint level of the beer, and what is the carbon footprint differences in between of the animal protein and the plant proteins. So, and that can accelerate the R&D process for all the entrepreneurs, for the schools, for the colleges to find out if they really want to create a real green product, what kind of direction they can go to. So this is what we are doing, and by this kind of measurement calculation, we also get known a lot of innovation team, and they are working close with us, and we try to introduce these innovation projects or teams to the industrial end, and they will be somehow investor or some partners to make the good technology into real practice. That's
Thank,
the things. Yes.
thank you so much. I would like to come back to Arikesh. Arikesh, you shared your wonderful story, how you started and what are the challenges you faced. We didn't able to hear you more about the challenges. While you founded Prakati Agro Logics, you also shared your successful project a bit. What are the challenges you face while you were implementing those projects? If you can share some light on that, so we from our audience we can also learn if we face similar challenges, how we can overcome.
Right. So I faced challenges in three different aspects. So the first challenge would be finding like-minded people who really wanted to work on such stuff, at least at the level that I am currently in. Because I come from a university where we had 1,200 students in my batch, and hardly 10 of them were really interested in agriculture. Right? So that shows where we're heading towards. So that was one issue, and luckily I got like one companion who really like is working with me right now. But we definitely need more people to come into such kind of a field. The second aspect would be with the farmers end, where the farmers know what they want to do, but they're scared to do what they really want to do. So they want to switch to traditional. They're looking, they know the importance of the crops, but they're really scared because of the economical factors behind them and the uncertainty that they face daily. Right? If they switch suddenly, they don't know what's going to happen the next day. So they need some kind of a guarantee or some kind of a proof that this system works, so that before they can actually take the leap into it. The third aspect was the consumer end, where getting the consumers to actually leave the red round tomatoes and go to something that might not look really round and red and perfect, but is actually tastier and healthier for you. So, they say looks are deceiving, but it's difficult to get people to really believe into that statement. So that is something that was really challenging. And coming to the last point, at least, there's a very simple way for all, both the consumers and the farmers end, and that's to show uh, proof or show a success story. So that's what we've been hearing a lot this time during COP, success stories. So that's what we came up with. So on the producers end, what we did, so we had a friend who had a piece of land, and he was ready to give it to us for experimentation. So we took some of the seeds and tried it out ourselves, and we figured out we're getting the same yield as your hybrid tomatoes, and we're not even using any kind of chemicals. It's just all organic, right? We're putting in inputs definitely, but there's no chemical in there, and we're still getting the same yield. So we thought, this is something that we should probably go and show to some farmers to give them, confidence that this can work. So that's what we did. We did this for around 6 months, 1 year. We grew like 3 cycles of different crops, took the pictures, took the data, went to them and showed it to them, saying, we've done it. You can try yourself. So we gave them a few seeds, and that's how they started to cultivate that again. On the producers end, consumers end, so we set up quite a few farmers market around a few cities in south of India. And in Bangalore, we had 2 farmers markets very recently. And when we were displaying our produce, people are afraid to buy because they think, traditional food or tribal produce is something very different from your usual. So we have to break that notion that it's something very difficult to cook or handle. It's as simple as your normal daily food, just that it doesn't look the same. So we were selling rice called Mullan Kaima in Kerala of South India, and it's a very aromatic, very healthy rice variety. But people were afraid to buy just because of the looks. It's not your perfect white polished rice; has its brown streaks on it. So, and the first time we didn't sell much of it. When we just told them like, this is the rice we have, no one was really interested to even try it out. Simple thing what we did, 250 grams of the rice. We just cooked it and kept it on the table the next time. Right? They looked at the rice, they smelt it, and we gave them a recipe book along with it, saying it's as simple as your normal rice. 5 minutes in a rice cooker or just stove top cooking, and we gave them gave them a taste, and instantly everyone, we were sold out within the next 2 hours, around 60 kgs of rice. So I feel we need to show people how we can use these kind of things simply, on both the ends. Show farmers how simple it is, show consumers to how simple it is to consume. It's not something very different, and I guess that makes it much easier for people to adopt different, scenarios which are pretty new to them.
Thank you so much, Arikesh. That was amazing. At such a young age, you have been doing such incredible work.
Thank you.
And I'm sure a lot of us who are sitting here will be definitely inspired. And I would like to come back to Catalia now. You shared you are from China. You have been based now in Australia. You have been working in one of the foundation that is based in India, and now recently that got one of the massive success in the digital villages. Now, would like to know the role of the international partnership in all the supporting and scaling up the youth-led initiative for the climate action, particularly in the agriculture sector.
Okay, that's a very good question. So, within the region, which is Asia Pacific region, and as a global citizen, actually, I dedicated a lot of my time and energy into climate change and agri-food transformation system because, inextricably, there's definitely the interconnection between Paris Agreement, which is GHG emission reduction, as well as 17 Sustainable Development Goals, well set by Agenda 2030. So my passion in this area is definitely finding more synergies between climate action, which is SDG 13, and other links to Paris Agreement and other SDGs, such as no poverty, life on land, life on below water, and all of them, including gender equality, education equity, because while doing the climate action, youth-led education seminars at all levels, using the whole society approach should be very popular. And this model, these successful practices can be proliferated to elsewhere, not necessarily only within Asia Pacific region, but beyond. So women and children, including youth, actually can lead so many education workshops, seminars, tutorials at all kinds of communities, from local community to the global community, and their passion, their roles in educating people, and also help to incorporate the climate education, biodiversity conservation into the curriculum can also be disseminated to other countries. And my role as the mediator or facilitator or moderator to accelerate the international collaboration is very delicate. I'd say lots of big words have been thrown out to the stage saying, we are going to go for a radical collaboration between Global North and the Global South. No. We can't wait for the solution, right? Because we are part of the Global South, and the only thing right now, right here, is South-South cooperation. And then we can take the initiative one step further. We are looking into more opportunities and find more finance and technology support from Global North. That's why the center of the initiative is the youth-led negotiation and climate advocacy to move forward surrounding the multilateralism to boost the North-South collaboration and a South-South cooperation. So it's a long way to go, but we are still at the very beginning because, 2030 is very approaching and we are currently at the end of 2023. We're not going to predict how many goals we are going to take off from our vision list by the middle of the point, 2025. Because by 2025, lots of countries are going to upload their NDCs, national adaptation plans and mitigation strategies. Even if Chinese central government and the US government just finished their talk and they launched their co-statement in Sunnylands in San Francisco. And I think this is a very good beginning for the collaboration, the true collaboration between those two groups. And what's next? And the youth's role and the women's role should be empowered, and our potential should be unleashed. So I think that's probably.
Thank you so much, Catalia, for sharing the international partnership importance and the role, not just for the global south and the global north, but also the collaboration and partnership between south and the south. Again, we don't talk much about this. I would like to come back again with Chada. You shared one of your personal story with your father, how you encountered and how you solved it. We also know at the current youth generation, we are facing the same problem right now. As a person, you have been working on the obesity and malnutrition. So how, what suggestion you have right now for the younger generation?
Thank you. So I think a very interesting problem that we face right now is we have big obesity problems in like developed countries, but then we also have big malnutrition problem in underdeveloped or developing countries at the same time. So like the complex relationship between how do we balance the two ends of the problem with the food system, and how can we bring sustainability into play to balance the whole supply chain or like the whole value chain of the food system, right? So I think one potential solution is to develop. I think there are many possible solutions that we can go into, but we have to take problems hand in hand. In terms of obesity, there should be actual actions in place to really tackle this problem, because obesity is a rising problem and it signifies a lot of other health problems at the same time. But then malnutrition itself is also a big problem that we also have to balance it out. So I think in terms of obesity itself, we have to find a place where we have to implement actual system in place to help people who have lifestyle management problem, and then do it step by step, helping them every step of the way. Changing lifestyle is really, really difficult. We love the food we eat. I love everything that I eat. I still am not 100% plant-based because I still love some particular food. But then for me personally, I try to be like pescatarian or like plant-based from time to time, just being more conscious about what I eat or what I do day to day. So I think education is super important, and also self-consciousness, self-awareness. So bringing a platform where people can learn more and be more educated in this area is super important. In terms of malnutrition, I think that we have a long way to go. The government should definitely implement some platforms or areas where innovative solutions can be put in place. We can have innovative food where there's all the nutrition that we need for those in place, and then those developed countries should also put in like some more aids to help with this issue as well. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Shada. That was wonderful. We have come close to end of our session. We have kept last 15 minutes for Q&A and last uh, 5 or 10, 6 minutes maybe probably for networking also. So we'd like to open the floor for anyone if he, she, they have any question. Yeah. Please start with your good name, where you are from.
Yes. So, hello everyone, I am Rajeshwar Singh from Mumbai, India, and I am here representing the plant-based treaty. So, I absolutely loved the session. Thank you all for being here and thank you for organizing this. And all of you are doing lovely work, excellent work all over the world. And as you said, our cultural heritage is so good. We have so much variety of crops and indigenous crops and agricultural biodiversity. And you said that how your father recovered and you acknowledge the benefits of the plant-based eating. You said that how it will benefit the climate. I think this is the best session that I've attended so far. Having said that, why do you think it is taking so long for all these decision makers to acknowledge that plant-based is the future? And how long do you think it will, come in the mainstream agenda? Because we are in this COP compared to the last one, it is much better because we have completely vegan food stalls and other stuff like that. But I believe, especially for Asians and Indians, being completely vegan is extremely simple. Like in India, the poorest of the poor people, they will eat plant-based not by choice, but by necessity, because plant-based food is the most economical food you can have. And it is also very nutritious. So why do you think this is taking so long? Because the science is very clear. And what do you think we can do to accelerate it?
I think this question is general for everyone, open one. So anyone would like to answer, or if everyone would like to give remark.
Is this session online? Something I can talk more aggressively? I don't know.
It's a live stream, but if you want to talk, we can stop maybe.
Yeah, I get. I try to explain in more practical way. I think because the war is not driven by poor people. That's what I feel, because staffing issue cannot it's too far away with upper infrastructure. They don't feel the pain of staffing. Of course, they cannot do something rapidly. That's a pity. So I participating in the sustainability work for long years, but for the agriculture, I think the most importance is so we do work on field. I mean, production. That's a key thing of the whole system, of the food system. We have to fill our belly first, then we can do more upper work. That's something happening in China, happening in India, or happening in all the developing country. Then we can think about the life structure, the better quality of the upper goal of the true meaning of the life, the climate change, and so on and so on and so on. I just come back. Last night we have a small section regarding the biofuel. You see, in future, a big proportion of the fuel of the aircraft will be made by biofuel. So, but the biofuels also grow from the field. It's all came from agriculture. But if we are short of food to satisfy our belly, how can we have the success of the production to make the green aircraft? So this is always the question. So we think take care ourselves as much as we can, and we make sure we have enough capability and production, and to support the green earth. That's something in real. I hope
Thank
I
you.
understand.
Yeah, I hope it answers your questions. But anyone else would like to add?
Yeah, I think to answer your question, just to add on, I think mindset shift is super important. And that could also be one of the reasons why it takes a long time, right? You said that being vegan or being vegetarian is very easy for some culture, but it can also be very difficult for other cultures, like in the North, in North America or in Europe as well. But I think like we are seeing positive changes now, and people are being more open to try plant-based food. But I think plant-based food is the future, but it also people should also be more mindful that it might not be the future for some people, as they also rely a lot on meat and some like heavy like poultry as well, right? So I think like we can also be open-minded about that as well, in terms of it might not be plant-based itself, but it can also be cultivated meat where we don't have to have as much pollution, but we can also grow like the same taste, same texture of meat in the lab, but then that also reduces carbon footprint at the same time. So I think having a mindset shift and being very open-minded, active listening, empathy is also very important in this change.
Thank you, Cheda. Anyone else would like to respond?
I would like to add a
Yes.
small point. I mean, I completely agree, and we should switch to things that are more sustainable. But in some cases, especially if we look at traditional ways of agriculture, it's very difficult to get rid of certain elements that fit into the chain, right? Now we saw that few decades back when we got in mechanization, it replaced a lot of cattle because many of the bulls that were kept for plowing were now replaced by tractors, and that's caused a huge, a drastic, fall in the amount of cow dung that's produced. Now, we plan to go towards an organic or a natural method of farming, and one of the main inputs for that is cow dung. Now, let's say we stop farming for milk. Now, what's going to happen? Farmers have zero incentive to keep cattle on their farm. Now, how do we switch to organic? How do we go to sustainable? So, I mean, this is not the case everywhere, but there are certain places that such elements are very important. Of course, we need to consume more sustainably, be very mindful of what you eat. But also, when we are, looking for such elements to fit into the chain, we cannot completely get rid of something or completely get rid of, let's say, having animals on farms. But yeah, we just have to be mindful. So that's what I guess is my point.
Yeah, please go ahead. Just a
Okay.
quick.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I think to persuade people to eat more green food and totally be a vegan definitely consumes time, because those green leaves vegetables are not cheap at all. Sometimes they are even more expensive than those meat like pork meat or bacon if they are well cooked. The thing is, we are not going to persuade people about the price, like how much money they are going to spend on food. And there is a very famous ratio in this world stemming from economics. So how much money you spend on food divided by your indisposable income. And the ratio, every one of you must be very familiar with it. So it's not the specific indicator to measure how rich you are, but it's actually another measure to justify how expensive the green leaves could be. So I think, first of all, we need to adjust the price for those vegan eaters, and we need to be friendly for them. And on the second point is we need to change their consuming behavior, because, first of all, they are customers and they need to change their current lifestyle. They need to be more low carbon and green. So it's very hard because we are going to change the customer behavior at the very beginning. That's also one of the indicators well listed under SDG 11 and SDG 12. And in this way, we can try to foster a more vibrant, supportive, resilient, safe, and inclusive community for everyone to live in. So I think that probably helps to answer your question.
Thank you so much, everyone. Do we have any other questions? I guess not. Then we have kept last 10 minutes for networking. So we will be ending the session. Just to all let you know, I haven't introduced myself. So my name is Vikrant Srivastava. I'm based in Delhi, India. I currently serve as Asia Pacific focal point for Children and Youth Major Group to UNEP, and also UN Youth Advisor for World Food Forum FAO. So happy to connect with you all and utilize this last 10 minutes, network with all of you and try to learn, and also try us to learn from you guys.
Thank you.